Hello, welcome to Howard Station on the far north side of Chicago. This red line train pulled in. This purple line trains all stop here. But we're not here to ride either of those. We're here to ride the Skokie Swift. Welcome to Chicago's weirdest subway line. Here's some history, and I'll see you getting on the train. A quick note before we start the history section. This is the first of 3 Chicago videos I filmed when I went to Chicago back in October. I hope you enjoy. Alright, here's the history section. The history of the Skokie Swift dates back to 1895, when the Bluff City Electric Railway opened a streetcar line in the city of Waukegan, located on the North Shore north of Chicago. In 1898, it was acquired by the Chicago and Milwaukee Electric Railroad, and in 1899, connections were made to the Milwaukee Road and to the city of Evanston. In the early 20th century, the Chicago and Milwaukee Electric, by now renamed to the Chicago North Shore and Milwaukee Railroad, started to resemble an interurban line, and therefore they started to develop property all around the rights-of-way. This spurred further development, and by 1906, the line, colloquially known as the North Shore Line, reached as far north as Racine, Wisconsin. The railroad thrived throughout the early 20th century, and the Nile Center branch, what is now the route of the Skokie Swift, was constructed in the 1920s to provide faster service from further out communities into Chicago. The railroad managed to even continue thriving during the Great Depression, a testament to the strength of American interurbans in the early 20th century. In the late 1930s, many modernizations took place, including a new electrically heated rolling stock, grade crossing elimination, and more frequent service. The most impressive improvement of all, though, was the introduction of brand new high-speed streamliners called electroliners. Personally, I think the electroliners look a bit weird. I mean, they're cool and all, but the concept of a high-speed streamliner on a pre-war interurban line is certainly interesting, but they did serve the line well. However, the improvements of the 30s would not last long. A strike in 1948 pushed already declining ridership plummeting to new lows, and by the early 1950s, more and more lines were being abandoned. In 1958, the North Shore Line filed with the ICC to abandon service, and on January 21st, 1963, the very last trains ran, bringing an end to one of the most important and impressive interurban railroads in American history. However, not all hope was lost. Under the presidency of Lyndon B. Johnson, experimental transit projects were being funded all around the country, and the CTA, Chicago's Rapid Transit Operator, saw an opportunity. So, later in 1963, the CTA bought out the Nile Center branch and intended to reuse it as a high-speed interurban shuttle, connecting to the newly developed village of Skokie. In April of 1964, with funding from the Johnson administration, this service was inaugurated, called the Skokie Swift. Until 2004, it ran with the original interurban overhead wires and modified subway stock, but even now, it still is a wonderful oddity and almost feels like an interurban that grew up. So, let's go take a ride on the Skokie Swift. So, as you saw, it's a little short two-car train, and the nice foam shut train just pulled in is there, and then I don't know if my phone is picking it up, but like behind it on a seemingly a siding track, there's another two-car train that's just been sitting there. So I think what happens is the train pulls into the siding, then comes out when the next train pulls in. The board is saying 3 minutes, yellow line train scheduled for Skokie. So yeah, it's called the yellow line. The former terminology of the Skokie Swift. There's the little Skokie Swift logo. Yeah, fun. All right, well, go on board. As it says, train to Dempster-Skokie. The line maps on the streets are shared between red, yellow, purple, and here. So yeah, the first segment between Howard and Oakton-Skokie is much longer. So yeah, I guess time lapse segment. This is also the branch line segment of the original interurban, and then we merge on to a very short section of what used to be the main line. This kind of, you could argue, is an interurban. It was powered by overhead wires until 2009, I think, but it does definitely run subway stock now. But it is nice that the CTA still pays homage to the interurban history with that cool logo. So yeah, dude, I love the CTA announcements. Alright, so I'll do a time lapse and then I'll pause it if I see something cool. Okay, here comes the train heading back towards Howard. Interestingly, unlike when it says Skokie with the Skokie Swift logo on, how would they don't say that? And this was the cool thing. These are grade crossings. Another the reason why this feels like an interurban's older cousin. I honestly find the existence of subway grade crossing that it's not only on the yellow lines, on multiple lines on the L. It's just it feels like the type of thing that would have been abandoned because of safety regulations like a century ago, and yet it's still here, and that's amazing. Oakton-Skokie, let's phone the train. Alrighty, welcome to Oakton-Skokie. We're still technically on the Chicago street grid, even though we're not in Chicago. 8,000 north. Yeah, very, very far north. As for why it's called Oakton-Skokie, this is the town of Skokie, and we're on Oakton Street. If it looks like a fancy new station, that's because, well, it is. This was built in 2010 as an infill station on the line. And, yeah. I got out of here mostly just to see both of the stations, and also to see really an impressive dedication to this line, because there's sort of the joke that like every transit system is gonna have its weird line. In New York, there's the Franklin Ave Shuttle. Oh wait, no, thought that was the pace my transit. It's not. Anyway, New York, the Franklin Ave Shuttle. Boston, the Mattapan line. DC doesn't really have one. Philly has the Broadridge Spur. Basically, every major city has this weird little subway line or transit line. The difference with this is that this is also getting direct improvement. Like every one of those lines, at some point, there was a proposal to shut it down. With this, I mean, it's staying strong. Also, we're now on the main line of the of what was the interurban that this line kind of replaced. I mean, that interurban did go all the way into Wisconsin. This does not, so that's fair. But you can kind of see the ride to it going down that way, down towards Chicago. So yeah, as expected for it being a suburb and pretty early on a Friday morning, no one is here. But I'm gonna go down to the exit to the little station booth, and we're gonna phone a train from there because train foaming good. So yeah, that is Oakton-Skokie. I guess I'll rate it because why not? For the newness and the coolness of building an infill station and just the existence of this line, Oakton-Skokie gets a 9 out of 10. All right, train foaming now. Alright, so after that certified Chicago grade crossing foamer shot, I then hopped on the train and filmed out the back window up to Dempster-Skokie, so I'll see you there now. Alright, so I arrived at Dempster-Skokie Station, and the first thing I saw was this great sign that said Dempster-Skokie, yellow line, and then the Skokie Swift logo, and then Skokie Swift, which just brings me to, I just love how much the CTA honors the history of this line, because it would be so easy for them to just say, it's a subway line now, come on transit nerds, we don't care about you, but they actually honor with the Skokie and the Skokie logo, with actually calling it the Skokie Swift, with keeping it open and not replacing it with a bus. Frankly, I think the CTA deserves credit for that. But enough yapping. Here's the cool interurban ride shot, and then I'll see you in the Dempster-Skokie Station building for the little end of video debrief. Hi, one quick thing. I'm filming this after I filmed the debrief. We'll get to that next. This is the ride way of the interurban. It's now basically all parking lots, but you can easily tell this went all the way up to Wisconsin. Very, very cool. I'm now about to get on Pace Pulse, which is the best BRT ever. Actually, it's potentially the worst. But yeah, that's that. yeah, Debrief time fun. Skokie Swift cool. Back to there where I did the debrief. Okay, the obligatory Dempster-Skokie Station building is it's the same. There are vending machines. A vending machine is very echoing here. There's this doesn't actually have the pace pulse yet, although this does. So pace pulse runs from O'Hare to Evanston. Yeah, that's Dempster-Skokie Station. The trains do actually just lay over up there, and then you board down there, so you can see there's this little crossing. Then you board down there. Okay, so now the debrief on the Skokie Swift. Just fundamentally, it's such an amazing line from a transit nerd perspective that I can't not love it. I feel like the systemic issues that it has are fairly minor. Yes, it ends at Howard, which is very far away from the loop, but the purple line runs express to the loop during the AM peak, and actually also during the PM peak. So even if you're reverse commuting, as I think some people were, you still have a fast commute. Yes, maybe there should be another infill station, but really, I'm not going to complain too much. The Skokie Swift is just great. Yes, it's every 20 minutes and it's every 15 at peak, but it's a small line through the suburbs. I think this line can be best summed up, not through any descriptors, but just through the fact that it really is an interurban line that grew up. That's just what this is. And for that, I love it. And it's amazing. And if you are in Chicago, you should come and ride the Skokie Swift. So now I'm going to go get on the Pace Pulse, which is 100,000% a real BRT. What are you talking about? It's not BRT. No, this is the best BRT in the country. It's actually not at all BRT. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.